Commentary, especially live, is a demanding job on the brain. You have to understand exactly what's going on in the game and roll your thoughts off of your tongue with startling speed. This can leave you questioning what comes out of your mouth the moment you say it, and for some, your voice is lovely background music to the whole game. Not really paying attention to it, but when you blunder, everyone notices. Here are the funniest commentary moments in sports history. Streak the ball. The National Football League, NFL, has had its fair share of chaotic moments and streakers. Kevin Harlan was a commentator during an LA Rams San Francisco 49ers game in December of 2016 that was interrupted by a streaker. The NFL footage doesn't show the streaker because they don't want to draw attention to him, thus inspiring more streakers to ruin the game. But that doesn't stop the commentary going wild. Harlan starts with saying there's a goofball in a hat and a red shirt, and you could be mistaken for believing he's talking smack about the 49ers because the people watching on TV don't see anything. But he starts getting more and more excited, stating he's taking off his shirt, beating his chest, running from the 50 to the 40 to the 30, stating that somebody stop that man. Soon enough, the police came around to surround the streaker as he's outlasted his time. The announcer yells that the blue coats are coming, and blue coats have got him on the 40-yard line. Meanwhile, all this action is occurring off screen, made all the more funny by the LA Rams coach Jeff Fisher being the focus of attention for the camera person. A slow zoom in on this disgruntled man as his mustache remains pert at watching this streaker. The focus then turns to Chip Kelly, coach of the San Francisco 49ers, as his face is distorted into a combination of happiness and disgust. Finally, the chaos ends with the commentary stating that was the most exciting thing to happen tonight. Not the best thing to say about the sport you're commentating on, Kevin. Defecation talk. Major League Baseball, MLB, has its fair share of funny commentary. Joe Buck is an infamous commentator who normally gets a lot of hate for his lame commentary, but in the 2011 MLB World Series, a baseball play makes history and it begins with a squeeze. Squeezing the ball is when a batter performs a bunt, which is not swinging the ball, but sacrificing the at-bat so a runner can move to another base. However, in October of 2011, this didn't even occur. Instead, Albert Pujols catches a ball that was swung for without it touching the ground, getting out the runner since they moved from their base and removing the batter. Joe Buck refers to this as Pujols squeezes out number 2, hinting at a possible bodily function. To make matters worse, he really enunciates on the phrasing here. The Catalan word for small hell is Pujols, pronounced Pujols, and according to the official website for the LA Angels, that's how it's pronounced. So imagine the commentator uttering the phrase Albert's Pujols squeezes out a number 2. We're confident it wasn't a squeeze play, and Joe Buck just wanted to say this from the beginning of the game. Staying with baseball, Jimmy Rollins beats famous player Mike Schmidt in the number of hits, moving past 2,235 career hits, but the announcer states that Rollins has moved past Mike. Well, you can imagine what he says, quickly correcting himself during this historical moment and possibly throwing some shade in there. For all you Canadians out there and other hockey lovers, stay tuned for the best NHL sports commentary. We've also got the calming sport of golf, pucking brave. The NHL is notable in the North American country of Canada. Oh, what a great land it is. Full of snow and bulky men, one of the bulkiest is Shea Weber, well known for his slap shot. Slap shots are the most powerful move in hockey and are the primary reason that hockey sticks break. The player winds up his entire body and brings the entire force down through the stick and into the ice. There, the force builds up as the stick bends, storing all of the energy in the stick like a spring. An expert rolling of the wrist releases this energy with minimal loss, and the puck is sent flying into the goal, or teeth, or body part that gets in the way. A professional move and something that can really put a dent in somebody's day or body. In Nashville, Ryan Callahan saw Weber winding up for a slap shot and heroically jumped in the way to block the shot. He successfully blocks the shot, which surely will cost him later that night in bed, and the announcer states you can't question his bravery, but you can question his intelligence, which just speaks volumes about Callahan's commitment to the game. There is no bodily preservation instinct when he's out on the ice, just him and the game he loves to play, all in a beautiful tandem until a puck brings him back to reality. A Peter Alliss tribute. Peter Alliss is known to many as the voice of golf, a quaint British individual whose commentary matches that of David Attenborough. When introducing the game of golf that was taking place in Kent, he couldn't help but mention the historical significance. This is where Julius Caesar, eons ago, landed on Britain and barely made it out alive. Or as Peter Alliss puts it, he came a few months ago, got fed up with the weather, and went home. Aligning Caesar's experience with most tourists who visit Britain and most British people getting annoyed at the weather and wanting to leave. He also remarks on the banter of the British by calling him Julie Baby, which would be a nickname given to Caesar if he spent any time whatsoever at a British pub. In another instance, a golfer is getting ready for a game and begins to squat to stretch out. Alliss comments, "Hello, go on, my son, get it out there," getting that deep stretch voice and one may say to a dog that is stretching. Big stretch. The golfer continues to stretch and shake out his legs in a circular formation to the sound of a gentle elderly British man making provocative noises. noises at the sight, finally stating enjoyment at the fact that the hula dancing champion has come to play the sport of golf. Scottish Gladiators. The world knows how important soccer is to the British, even when other countries are playing it. In the match between Real Madrid and Malaga, a Scottish announcer becomes so annoyed with his co-presenter when he mentions Tom Cruise that he begins yelling, "Will ya stop talking about tennis players and stupid Hollywood actors? We're watching gladiators out there, man," showing just how much he thinks soccer players are true gladiators fighting each other on the pitch. It's a stark opinion on the game, as other sports are much more physical and soccer players are recently more renowned for taking dives. Ironically, Bo Nielsen gets flicked on the ears by an opposite team in a playful way. This forces Nielsen to the ground, clasping at his ear and having to get taken off the field in a stretcher. Not exactly the gladiators mentioned by this Scottish presenter, but we can all understand his heated frustrations. Few things are as funny as an angry Scot. He retorts back at the Tom Cruise comment and says something comprehensible along the lines of Tom Cruise smelling a soccer player's jockstrap, followed up with the incomprehensible statement of, "He'll feel better way, he'd fade that away, he'd fade a letter away." Regardless, we don't think he was doing Tom Cruise any favors in that final incomprehensible comment, but it certainly may speak Freudian volumes about what the presenter would actually like to do to those jockstraps. Big Golden Pride. Staying with the Brits, ask anyone in Britain who knows anything about soccer when was the best year. They'll reply 1966, the only time that Britain has ever won the FIFA World Cup, and the announcer, Kenneth Wolstenholme, was immortalized during the greatest celebration. Jeff Hurst was the player who at the very last seconds, referees checking their watches, and people started coming onto the pitch because they think it's all over, scored the final goal against Germany in the finals. Wolstenholme states that they think it's all over. Then Hurst scores, and he finishes with, "It is now." Then as Bobby Moore went to collect the Jules Rimet Trophy, which is the large iconic symbol of the World Cup made of gold, from Her Majesty the Queen, Kenneth Wolstenholme states that the trophy stands at 12 inches high, it is solid gold, and it means England are the world champions. This phrase has not escaped history, as the 12-inch long and solid phrasing can be quickly acquainted with something that men cherish dearly that will stand tall and solid at the moment of victory. Wolstenholme at the time said nobody would have guessed what would be said if England actually won the World Cup, and no one cared about what the announcer really said at the time of victory. Celebrations were too numerous, and the cheering was too loud for days on end. But one thing does care: history. And history will always remember the 1966 solid gold victory with those words in our ears. What did you think of our list? Did we miss some absolutely iconic commentary moments? They really do make the game that much more lively. Let us know in the comments.